Take my horse out into the road. I'm gonna fuck it till I can't no more.
Wasn't expecting that.
What if you happen to come across a man fucking a horse on the road, Rob Dog? What would you do?
Help the horse.
I would say, hey there, fella, what are you doing to that horse? No, I didn't put two of these fuckers on an arc just for you to be out here in the middle of the street fucking one of them. Why don't you get off that horse there, fella?
Maybe that was the point.
You little dirty dick. This is the Brohio podcast show. I'm, of course, your less appreciated, undervalued, piece of shit co-host, Delicious Nicolicious. I'm here with a sexual, sensual, seductive, passionate, juicy.
Wow.
Yeah, I can keep on going for as long as you want me to keep going.
Adjectives.
So,
I'm Rob Dog. Hi, guys.
thanks for joining us. This is the Beltway, Washington, D.C. sniper episode.
Yes, it is.
I'm going to go ahead and say this is going to be our best episode ever.
Oh, all right.
Probably not, but we're going to fucking give it hell. There's this person named King Kong something that keeps on writing us reviews all week. They change the review every day, and the last one says...
Like they change what it's... just like what they say?
They go back and they change the text.
Oh, okay. Gotcha.
And the latest one says, just blow each other and get it over with.
Who says we haven't?
If it were that easy and it wasn't complicated, we would have got it taken care of a long time ago.
Is it at least a 5-star?
Yeah, I think it is. Okay. I think it initially started as a 4-star, but now it's up to a 5-star.
Okay. I'll take that.
So, King Kong, you keep up the good work. Stuff like that, it makes us laugh.
Yeah.
It brings us great
That's awesome.
joy.
Thank you. It's a lot of work.
It is. Yeah. Sometimes it's a lot of copying and pasting from Wikipedia, if that's what you're into. We have some Patreon subscribers this week.
Oh, we do?
Yeah.
Who knew?
This first one comes from Max Doherty, but he said, don't shout me out. Shout out my buddy P. Moore. It's his birthday at the end of the month. So, P. Moore, we hope you get that worked out. Happy birthday.
And you piece of shit.
Yeah, thanks for the Patreon subscription.
Thank you. And next we got Cameron Hubbard. Thank you very much.
And after that, we got Molly. Thank you, Molly. Your picture here on Patreon is a little yellow kitty cat with a blue background. Thank you.
Yay. And then we got Jennifer Bailey. Thank you.
Andres Mesa. Thank you, Andres. That's a fucking beautiful name. I fucking love you, man. We've gone through some shit. I fucking love you, okay?
Oh, Jesus. Joey Magallanes. Or two L's. It could be pronounced with the Y. I don't know. Joey M. Thank you, you fucker.
Joey Maggot-anus.
Maggot.
Oh, that's a nasty one. Maggot-anus.
Maggot-anus? Yeah, that's pretty bad.
Amanda Rondano. Thank you, Amanda Rondano, for your Patreon pledge.
The Whale Hungarian. Okay.
I like that one, too.
All right.
We got Brett Blasgo. There's a Z in the middle. Anytime you use Z in the American language, you fuck some people up. Brett Blasgo.
Jason Matt.
We also had a very special donation from Sarah Wisdom. She joined Patreon this week, but then she sent us $5 more on PayPal. She said, go ahead and let this is from Jesse and Jameson. So give them a shout out. I said,
hey, that's awesome. Thank you.
All right. That sounds wonderful.
Friends being friends.
That's what friends are for. Listen, this past week at work, my friend Dan is one of the greatest people I've ever met in my life. Word on the street is Dan has a huge dick.
Okay.
His wife tells everyone at the work parties.
Okay.
She'll get drunk and she'll say, you guys think your legs are big. You should see Dan's penis. And he gets really embarrassed. He's a super quiet guy. I thoroughly enjoy it. I thoroughly enjoy asking him about his large penis. He doesn't talk about it. He won't talk about it. And those are the guys you got to worry about. But he was talking about his house. He says, I got an upflush system. I said, what the fuck is an upflush system?
Yeah, I don't...
He said, there's a box in there that chops your poop up when you're in the basement. It chops the poop up, and then it shoots the poop up to your septic system. I said, that's absolutely terrifying, Dan.
Sounds horrible.
He said, I've honestly never used it. I'm afraid to use it.
Makes a big turd smoothie.
I said, for the sake of the people around me, I hope I never come into contact with one of these boxes. Flash forward to a little work engagement at my wife's boss's house.
Uh-huh.
And they're out mingling and shit, and I'm in charge of the kids in the basement. He's like, I got a arcade game down there and a ping pong table. And I said, all right, I'll go check it out. The arcade didn't fucking work. And the kids wouldn't let me have the fucking paddle. And there was nobody to play with. So I'm just standing there with my thumb in my ass playing Clash Royale.
Yeah.
Then my butt goes, I must make a big ol'. It was ready to go.
Right.
I said, okay. All right. So I start looking around. There's a bathroom right behind me. So I go in the bathroom, and there's this big oblong box right behind the toilet, right below it. And I said, oh, no. Is this what I've been told about in the Elder Scrolls, that I would have one day?
It's a poop blender.
Dude. I sat down, and there's no way about getting around that. I had to go. It was probably going to either be that, or my wife was going to divorce me if I shit my pants with how big that poop felt.
Naturally.
So then I pooped, and I looked down at this box, and like half of it's into the wall and half of it's out.
Okay.
And it's got a little vent, and I don't know what I don't know what the fuck it was, but there was two little lights. There's a green light, and I flushed it, and the thing went. Sound like someone stuck a fucking turkey bone, like a turkey neck in the garbage disposal. And I was like, oh fuck! And it stopped. The green light went away, and this red light started flashing. Shit. And me being like I'm an electromechanic, I know that flashing red lights means something's not in the state that it's supposed to be in.
Yeah.
It's fucking broken, man. So then I'm like, God damn it, man. And I go upstairs, and they're out in the garden holding their fucking wine glasses upside down, or they're, they got their hands like this, and the neck of the wine glass is like through their fingers, and like oh yes, I haven't heard that joke in a long time. And I went up to my wife, I'm like, I just broke the fucking shit box downstairs. She's like, you did what? I'm like, I broke the fucking shit box downstairs, we gotta go. And we fucking backed up the kids, and we got the fuck out of there. But I didn't really say, if anyone asks, Nicolicious didn't break the shit box.
That poor shit box. Did you like shit into the vents on top of it? Like, this thing confuses me.
I just stared at it, and I'm like, I'm the big dog in the yard. You got nothing.
It already knew.
You got nothing for me, pal.
That it's matched.
So what it does tell me is I need to get a lot more fiber in my diet. If I can, or maybe he needs the blade sharpened in his poop box. I know a lot of people that just carry like a long leather sheath. They carry around big knives. I'm gonna have to start carrying around a poop knife.
Man, you have to.
In case these things arise, I gotta be able to handle myself.
Chop that shit up. Literally.
Take care of my business. Speaking of weird shit, I have an article for you this week, Rob Dog.
All right.
Hopefully it has nothing to do with a poop box. If you have a poop box, write us an email, brohiopodcast@gmail.com. Let us know if your shit is fiberless enough that you've ever broken your shit box.
Or have you ever opened it up?
Or have you ever shit in the vents?
Shit in the vents and then opened it up.
A terrifying man wearing a rubber suit has reportedly been terrorizing villagers and grunting and touching his genitals in Somerset.
Amen.
Police in Claverham, that has to be somewhere.
That's to be Kentucky.
Great Britain. I think it's gotta be. Great Britain's the Kentucky of the world.
That's true.
Police in Claverham said they received 14 reports about a man, quote, approaching people while wearing disguises, one of which was a black bodysuit. What are those called? God, what's it called when they dress up in the fucking black bodysuits? And you can like fart in their mask and stuff. I don't remember.
Fuck. I know it's called like a gimp suit.
Oh yeah, it's a gimp suit. Yeah. A woman in her 20s said a man charged at her in a full black rubbery suit. The unnamed woman told the BBC, how fitting, he kept coming towards me and he was touching his groin, grunting and breathing heavy. You like it when I rub my wiener like that? As I tried to take a step back, he was right in front of my face, and he put his leg forward. I was just trying to assess the situation in my head quickly. Everything was running through my head. I thought, this is it. I'm going to get attacked. The man fled the scene and ran towards the main road when she started screaming. Police were called to the scene at around 11:30 p.m., and a search helicopter was dispatched as well as a police sniffer dog. That's what they're called.
Sniffer dog.
We don't have guns, so we use police sniffer dogs. But officers were unable to trace the suspect. However, a man in his 20s was later arrested on suspicion of indecency. The man is currently in custody, and inquiries into the series are ongoing, police said.
Just let a man wear his gimp suit.
Let him wear his gimp suit and rub his balls and breathe heavily.
Fart into his mouth, whatever he wants.
What's wrong? Maybe he's out poop box shopping.
Who knows?
Just go to Lowe's. And they say, hey, can I help you find anything? That never happens because no one at Lowe's ever fucking helps you.
I know. They run away.
Go to Home Depot or Menards where there's real life people working and they care about you. And just say, hey, where's your poop boxes?
Nothing makes me feel more manly, though, than walking into one of those stores.
I used to hate it when I was a kid.
So did I.
Now I have to excuse myself from my family and go in the bathroom and masturbate when I go into these places.
Yep. All that wood.
I
get you going.
Yeah, all those old men in there turns me on.
Man, I wish I could fucking build something.
I'm that guy that goes to the YMCA and I just stay in the bathroom and wait for old guys to walk around and come up to me and put their leg up on the bench and let their big fucking turkey necks just dangle down.
Danglers.
Yeah. What, have you had that experience before?
Not up close and personal.
Yeah.
From a distance.
You go to these gyms, usually the YMCA, where there's a lot of old people hanging out. These old guys in the locker room will just come up and put their knee up on the... and like, hey, how long you been coming to the YMCA? I'd really appreciate it if you get your dick and balls out of my face, buddy. If you could, that would be fantastic.
That big old turkey gobbler away from me, boy.
Yeah, get that English sniffer dog out of my face.
Sniffer dog. That's fucking awesome.
And that's what an old man uncircumcised dick looks like. It looks like an old English sniffer
Bloodhound.
dog.
Fucking bloodhound's ear.
An old tired one. He doesn't want to be alive anymore.
Like it's droopy eyes.
When an old English sniffer dog dies, it comes back as a
old man's dick.
An uncircumcised old man's dick. Here I am, just an old sniffer dog now. An old flaccid dick. You think people that aren't circumcised ever grab the tip and like pull it apart like a balloon and just pee all over the place? That's what I would do.
I would.
If you ever spray pee all over the place with your uncircumcised wiener, write us an email, brohiopodcast@gmail.com. We'd love to hear about it.
If you pull it tight enough, does it make the same noise a balloon does when you let the air out of it? Uncircumcised penises fascinate me.
They are absolutely terrifying. What do you do with all that extra skin?
Oh, man.
I get a boner and then I can roll it over the tip. Looks real cool. It always throws me off in a porno when I see a guy and he gets an erection kind of halfway.
Yeah.
But it's not circumcised, so then the skin's all rolled over the tip.
You can still see the head, though. But under the skin, it's weird.
I say, what are you going to do with that? It's not going to feel real good because the good feeling's right there on the head, and you got your hood over it. Take your hood off to have sex. You got to pull that skin back a little bit. But then the scary part is there's cheese that grows in there, and it stinks really bad.
Ugh.
Some of you ladies are like, my husband's wiener doesn't stink, but you know deep down inside that every time he takes his fucking shorts off and it smells like an old fucking lunchbox that's been sitting in the back of the car for 3 days in the middle of the summer.
That's the worst.
Deep down inside, you're looking for a guy like old me and Rob Dodge, a 3-incher with no skin on it. Just
none at all. None at all.
Yeah. Let's get into the story here, Rob.
I guess.
Leave us a review on iTunes. We're on Instagram. We're on Snapchat. We're on Facebook. We're on Twitter, @Brohio Podcast. We have a live show coming up in West Virginia with Hillbilly Horror Stories in October. Also in October, we're probably going to be doing another live show in Dayton at the Lucky Star Brewery like we do every year.
And maybe we can even squeeze another one in Dayton here before the end of the year.
I wrote Lucky Star and they didn't write back. They haven't wrote back. I sent her a text message.
Oh, okay.
So, might not want us back this year. I don't know.
They did sit and watch our set last year, so they may not want us.
Unfortunately, they did leave too.
They did.
Okay. All right. So, at 5:20 p.m. on October 2nd, 2002 in Aspen Hill, Maryland, 13 miles outside of Washington, D.C., a bullet pierced and shattered the window of a Michael's craft store, passing through a checkout sign before finally stopping its path in the Halloween decorations. And I meant to go back and change that. It did not hit the Halloween decorations. It hit seasonal flowers. So keep that in mind when you're telling this story to your friends at work trying to make small talk.
I can deal with the seasonal flowers, but if it messes up the Halloween stuff, I'd be pissed.
Yeah, fuck you, bullet. No one was harmed by this bullet sizzling from the high-powered rifle that it came from. This was the beginning of a near month-long reign of terror unlike anything America has ever seen before. So normally when we get these stories about serial killers, people hurting people, people killing people, brothers and sisters fucking each other, cats and dogs living with one another, we start off with a little story behind the bad people in the story.
Right.
We're not going to start with the bad people. We're going to start with the chain of events here, take you through all of the murderous rampage, because at this point, the murderer, he's completely unknown at this point.
Yep.
But obviously you did tune in for the Beltway sniper, so at some point you know there's going to be a Beltway sniper. Our first victim here is James Martin. Just 40 minutes later, after the victimless bullet flew through the window of the Michael's craft store, James D. Martin was leaving the Shoppers Food Warehouse in the Glenmont Shopping Center, picking up food for his family after leaving work. And there's no worse feeling than after a long, full day of work, the wife calls and says, hey, can you stop at the grocery store and drop about $300 real quick and bring some groceries home? So this fucking poor guy's just...
I'm not trusted at grocery shops, so I don't have to worry about that.
Oh, yeah, me neither.
Yeah.
She opens up the bag. She's like, you got fruit punch and chocolate Twinkies.
24 Slim Jims.
Yeah.
It's like, sorry, man, I was hungry.
Yeah, but the caviar was on sale, and I bought some because I knew you would like that. I don't ever eat seafood, ever. I hate fucking seafood. Now, this time, a single shot rang out, and several shoppers saw James Martin hit the pavement. And Rob and I have about, 4,000 to 5,000 911 calls. We got a lot of excess audio for this one. So this is the first 911 call from when James Martin was shot in the Glenmont Shopping Center.
Is he bleeding?
Yes.
Where's he bleeding from?
I don't know. I'm like half an aisle away from him.
Is it inside?
No, it's outside in a parking lot. Oh, there's a police officer here now.
So that's the first 911 call. This is the first casualty of these of the shooter. James Martin was bleeding profusely from the middle of his torso/chest area. Fellow shoppers attempted to perform immediate first aid on James Martin. There was a police officer I think he was actually in the parking lot of the shopping center when this all went down, so he was pretty much on the scene instantaneously. He was administering first aid within seconds or even minutes of the actual, of him absorbing the shot. Unfortunately, the attempts to keep James Martin alive was unsuccessful. Now, as the sun went down that day, there was virtually no evidence for the police to go off of. There's, at the scene from where James Martin was shot, there was no shell casings. There was a small entrance wound and a large exit wound, which told them that this was indeed from a high-powered rifle. There was little as far as witnesses as well. This wasn't a crime-ridden area, and drive-by shootings were virtually unheard of in this part of Maryland. I've been to, I passed through Washington, D.C., that area before. D.C. itself is pretty nice, but once you get in, like, Baltimore, phooey.
Rough.
God damn.
Yeah.
You get fucked up down there in Baltimore, dude. But as far as the rest of Maryland, I can't speak for that. I think there's some really nice areas in Maryland. But at this point, the police are completely stumped. They have no suspects. They have no eyewitnesses. There's nothing to go off of at all. Flash forward just a short time later. I'm sorry. I think this was flash forward to the next morning.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yep.
With police still working the case from the night before at 7:41 in the morning, the very next morning, in Rockville, Maryland, 5 miles away from the original shooting, James Sonny Buchanan was shot and killed while cutting his grass at the Fitzgerald Auto Malls. Now, initial reports said the lawnmower malfunctioned and killed Buchanan in the process. So the original 911 caller, he reported that that Sonny was chopped up by the lawnmower.
Oh, God.
Yeah.
What's going on, man?
This guy's lawnmower did something, man. It chopped him up. He's bleeding real bad. He's down and out.
Okay, is this at, what's the address there? Is that the supposedly shooting on Rockville Pike?
Yes. I thought it was a shooting. We heard a loud bang, sound like a gunshot. That's why I said what I did.
Okay, 11-4-11 Rockville Pike.
The initial reports from the eyewitnesses were this lawnmower malfunctioned and chopped this guy up.
God damn it, he was mowing grass, and the next thing I know, fucker landed on the ground. I don't know what happened.
And that's what they thought. But then, as the few minutes progressed there, they said, oh, fuck, this guy's shot. We don't know how he was shot, but he was shot, and they called back and said, yeah, he was definitely shot. It was obviously quickly discovered this wasn't the case of the lawnmower hurting him, as he was killed by a rogue sniper as well. So not only do we have the body on our hands from the night before, the guy
shopping trip,
the guy leaving the grocery store, but now we have Sonny Buchanan, who was essentially sniped on his lawnmower,
just cutting his grass.
Yeah, he was just working, going to town.
Doing everyday man things.
Forensic teams and detectives were still arriving to the scene when another call came out 31 minutes later. Only 4 miles away, taxi driver Prem Kumar Waleka was pumping gas at a mobile gas station. A witness heard a single shot, then saw Waleka stumbling towards her vehicle with blood gushing from his chest. So this female, she called 911 because after he was shot, he pretty much fell into her arms. And she's just pumping gas and she's got her baby in the car. So imagine one of our wives going through some fucking shit like that. And this is the 911 call.
Ma'am?
Oh my God,
Ma'am, listen to me. What is wrong?
Dang.
He's being killed in front of me.
How is he being killed in front of you?
I don't know.
And the pictures there, they had some aerial shots there.
The dispatcher's kind of a dick.
Well, you have to, and I've dispatched in these situations before, man. People are hysterical when a family member dies or they see something traumatic. You know, our wife,
Ma'am!
you got to tell them to shut the fuck up and tell you what's going on. Because the thing about 911 dispatchers,
Time is of utmost
it
importance.
absolutely is, but you're the first one on the scene, essentially.
Yeah.
And like we learned in the shooting here in Beaver Creek, Ohio, there were people on the scene there. It's a big racial deal that occurred here in Ohio, where a guy was carrying a toy rifle around Walmart, and some fucking scuzzbucket white guy in the Walmart's like, "There's some guy right here. He's toting around a goddamn rifle. He's going to kill everybody." And this guy didn't know that. You watch the surveillance footage, and this guy is just. He's got the gun. He's holding it like a toy soldier. He's not pointing at people. He's not waving it around. He's not doing anything with it. And this guy says, he's sitting here about to fuck kill everybody. So the dispatcher says to the police, high alert. This guy's walking around with a high-powered rifle, and he's looking to take some lives. So the police automatically come in, guns blazing. So it's really important, crucial for a dispatcher to get the information correct, and for someone just to be like, "No, someone's fucking dead." That can be, she's getting massacred right now. It can mean a lot of different things.
Yeah, definitely.
But the aerial footage from the crime scene right there looked like someone took water balloons of blood and just started throwing them all over the goddamn place. It was a mess. So Waleka, he did unfortunately pass away at the scene there. At this point, something like this is going to have law enforcement resources stretched super thin.
Oh yeah, they got 3 shootings within a day of each other that they have to.
2 of them within minutes of one another. And something like this, you're calling all your detectives out. You're calling out Squad A, Squad B of the SWAT team. Most departments this size, I think this was covered by the Montgomery County Police Department, which is kind of weird for me. Usually here in Ohio, it's Montgomery County Sheriffs. Sheriffs usually service a county, but it could be, it can be different anywhere. You have maybe 2 different teams as far as a SWAT team. You don't have fucking an infinite amount of, even LAPD, one of the biggest police departments in the world. They don't have, 100 fucking SWAT teams. Eventually, they're going to run out of people to start bringing out. Eventually, they're going to run out of homicide detectives. Eventually, they're going to run out of forensic units. And in this case right here, all of the resources are completely torn in 10 different directions, and you can't so you start sending, the guys like you and I that have been in the police force for like 12 years, and we just haven't written a ticket in fucking 7 years, and we just get really big burgers for lunch every day and hang out, hit the clock, and go home. You got to start sending guys like me to these crime scenes like, all right,
here I am.
Go see if you can figure anything out.
Yeah.
And me and old Rob Dog are like, you fucking got it, dude. We'll go help the people. We're heading that way right now. And at this point, if we could say this is where the carnage stopped, we would still have a bloody murderous story on our hands. But unfortunately, this was only the beginning as far as what this killer would actually accomplish. Our next victim, Sarah Ramos. She was from international descent, so I'm not sure how to pronounce that last name.
I would say it's Ramos.
25 minutes later, after Waleka was picked off at the mobile gas station, 2 miles away, at the Leisure World Shopping Center. Sarah Ramos, 34 years old. She was a housekeeper. She was a babysitter. She was a wife and a mother of a 7-year-old little boy. Was shot in the head and killed while she sat outside on a bench.
Jeez.
She was waiting on a bus ride. Original eyewitnesses were completely stunned and under the belief that she had actually pulled a gun out from somewhere and shot herself in the head, essentially taking her own life on the bench there right after she got off the bus. And that's what was described in this next 911 call that we're going to play right here.
Fire an ambulance.
Yes, I need an ambulance and police at Leisure World Plaza at the end by the post office. A girl just shot herself sitting on the bench there. Hurry.
So the initial 911 call goes out as a woman that has shot herself in the head. With everything going on and all the different... I mean, it's complete pandemonium at this point. You got to think about this stuff all going on within a few miles of one another.
And there's no rhyme or reason to it. That's just people doing it, their normal thing.
Exactly. And you start to look back at the victims here, and none of them really match the same. There's no formula. There's no, I'm only killing white people. I'm only killing fucking stupid fat guys like Nicolicious. There's no pattern here, okay?
Yeah, it's completely random.
So they're having a hard time getting everything nailed down. Like I said, it was dispatched as a suicide attempt, but police and detectives knew immediately during the dispatch that no, this was not a suicide. I got a fucking hair in my beard or something from my cat. It's about to drive me to beat my face into this keyboard. I'm going to be okay, Rob.
I got a squeaky chair, so it's all right.
You don't worry about me. Now, it was dispatched as a suicide attempt, but police and detectives knew immediately there was no way in fucking hell that this was what it was dispatched as.
Yeah.
It was another sniper shot, which indeed it was. The bullet that killed Ramos entered her skull and exited through her neck. But this time, the police were able to immediately recover the bullet. It was a .223 caliber bullet. While it is a popular round of bullet, it's not a sniper's first choice. And this is just coming from listening to my fucking dad when he's rambling at various events where I have to listen to him talk about guns and bullets and people I work. Because I don't care about. Some people are into hot rods. Some people are into guns. Some people are into reptiles. I'm not into any of that stuff.
I'm into women.
I like.
I don't have time for that shit.
I've always wanted to put a bearded dragon in my ass. I think that would be really cool. I don't think they fight a whole lot where it would hurt and possibly puncture my anal sac.
I always wanted to put on a cum sock.
Yeah.
Just to feel what it feels like.
I want to put on someone else's cum sock.
Right.
It's one of you people that listen to the show. Ryan Smith, Drew Johnson, one of you guys. Want to go to your house and put on your cum sock.
We know you sick fucks have one.
Hunter Thornton from Justin Rimmel, Jerry. I just want to put on one of their cum socks. How cool would that be? Just try on someone else's, just to see what they go through in that moment of passion.
That's the ultimate bro respect right there.
Yeah, just stare at them while you do it too. Hey, are you wearing my cum sock? Yeah, I am. And I've explained on this show before. You like that? I've explained on this show before that I've seen in movies where was it American Pie, where there's the cum sock, and I was never really quite sure how to utilize a cum sock, so I would just put it over my penis like a sheath, and I would jerk off with the sock around my penis.
Rubs all your dick skin off.
And it would get to the point where I would just it would look like Freddy Krueger's neck whenever I was done jerking off. And I would just go down for dinner, and my mom would be like, "What's wrong?" I'm like, "I think I'm jacking off wrong, Mom." I think I'm jacking off incorrectly.
Got the angriest dick in town.
This thing is bleeding. Fucking socks are ruining all my socks. Now, Jesus, man. The thing about a .223 caliber bullet, and I guess the sniper utilization, it requires a direct shot of the spinal stem for a lights out kill. Obviously, I play a lot of Fortnite. I know headshots are pretty fucking good. But if you're aiming, I think you aim for the fucking torso. Center mass. I think snipers obviously aim for the head, but center mass is the rule of thumb for shooting a gun. But you have to aim for the spinal stem for a lights out kill. this specific round is very susceptible to the effects of wind, and it loses velocity rather quickly. To add to the complexity of this crime scene, some witnesses reported a white panel truck that left the scene at a very high rate of speed. There was oftentimes through this entire investigation, it gets to the point where they're obsessing over finding these white panel vans and these white panel trucks that they're sure that the suspects, that this is what they're driving.
Spoiler alert.
Yeah, they might have been. We don't know. Our next victim here, this is Lori Ann Lewis Rivera. A little over 30 minutes, a little over a half hour later. So we've got 3 killings.
This is
in
like
an hour and a half.
Yeah, within
here.
an hour and a half.
Just a few miles away from the last scene, 25-year-old Lori Ann Lewis Rivera was vacuuming her Dodge Caravan at a Shell gas station. Her life was gone in an instant as well, and we have that 911 call here.
It was like a bomb. Yeah, but it wasn't a bomb. I mean, it's like that kind of noise. It was like a gunshot, maybe? Kind of.
Vacuuming her van, and the sniper shot her, and at this point, the shooter is striking at a rate of about every half hour.
Yeah, you can imagine how frustrated and like pretty much going crazy the police are
The police
at that
are
time.
just, they're brought to their knees at this point. What the fuck do we do?
Yeah.
And this is all happening all at once. So
It's so fast. I mean, and each one is just a couple miles away from the last place. So they're
Right.
obviously on the move, like constantly.
now what they did do is they brought several SWAT teams that were called, and they split them up to these different locations where the shootings occurred. SWAT snipers were brought to the various crime scenes to help get a better grasp on how the shooters were carrying out these murders. Police were kind of feeling like they were dealing with a team or a cell of snipers at this point. With a team of snipers, you're thinking organized crime or a terrorist group of some kind.
Yeah.
Mind you, this is all happening only 13 months after the trade towers fell in New York City. We gotta fucking turn that essential oil thing off because I think it's gonna take my life.
Your left eye is like bloodshot
Yeah,
and leaking.
it's leaking. I think it's this essential oil thing. I'm gonna pause and turn it off and see if that saves my life. Hopefully it does, or we might not finish this episode.
Essential oils are supposed to help.
Okay, we're back. We
All
turned
right.
off the essential oil machine.
He's back alive.
I think I'm gonna be all right. I don't know.
You're gonna make it.
Phooey, man. All right, so they think that it could be fucking Al Qaeda at this point.
Right.
George Bush is. I can tell you exactly who's making these sniper shots. It's Al Qaeda. Al Qaeda. There's a picture on Facebook this week going around of George Bush and Bono from U2. Is that his name? Bono?
Yeah.
Boner the Bono? Bono the Boner?
Bono.
Most Beatles and fucking U2, man. Overrated pieces of shits.
Yep.
Yeah, I think we've said that before. So the thought process at this point, as far as the sniper shootings, they think it's linked to Al Qaeda, with it only being just only a couple minutes away from the heart of Washington, D.C. Many government facilities and buildings went on complete and full lockdown, and people started streaming to the schools to remove their children. Added to the thought process of terror, none of these victims were related at all.
Yep.
So that's the thing with terrorism. You got hate groups. For instance, people like Ricky, Antifa. It was Ricky's Antifa, right?
I don't know.
Yeah, he's in a terrorist group called Antifa.
Okay.
They just, I think they discriminate against the right-wing people.
Yeah.
And then for the KKK, they obviously don't like anyone that isn't white. Same with Nazis or whatever.
Yeah.
Those are hate groups. We're dealing with a terrorist group. They just fucking kill Americans. That's their thing. You're in America? You like America? We're gonna fucking kill you. You texting Ricky and asking if he's an Antifa?
Yeah, I'm asking him, are you an Antifa dog?
He'll say yes.
Yes.
Now, there was all of these people were different sex, different color, different ethnic backgrounds. So police are, like we said, they're just stumped. They have no idea, nothing to go off of at this point. By this point, they already had the FBI and the ATF involved. for not long, because all this stuff is happening all at once, but they did get the FBI and the ATF in there almost immediately.
Good.
There was when this specific area of Maryland, there was no cover for a sniper, okay? This takes you back to the thought process of it potentially being the shots being fired out of a panel truck or a panel van. To try and solidify the thought process at this point, autopsies were completely imperative for their investigation. They were specifically looking for the elevation of these shots. Were these people taking these shots from buildings?
Right.
Were they taking them from the ground? You know, they needed the answers from the autopsies so they could start to narrow their search down. Are they looking high in the sky? Are they looking for a guy in a fucking helicopter? Are they looking for a guy, a Ninja Turtle in the sewer? What are they looking for? Pizza guy's 5 minutes late. You know, what are they looking for at this point? They did enlist the help of the FBI and the ATF, and they were quickly able to determine that 3 of the 6 bullets came from the same rifle. So that kind of
50-50
narrows it down that you were possibly dealing with 2 teams here.
Right.
Maybe we're dealing with 1 team or 2 or 3. The morning shootings stopped for the time being. So we have 3 or 4 people that are essentially shot in broad daylight at this point.
Yeah, I think that makes it 4.
But they stop. Then, so you have a full day of investigations, a full day to try and gather their marbles and figure out what their next move is going to be. At 9:20 p.m. that same night, Pascal Charlot, a 72-year-old retired carpenter, was shot and killed by a single gunshot wound to the chest while walking across the street in Washington, D.C. So this greatly it broadens the reach of this investigation. So now we were dealing with specifically Montgomery County. Now we're in Washington, D.C. So this kind of, a lot more ears start to perk up at this point. The thing about this shooting was there were 2 people pulled over after this shooting in a blue Chevy Caprice. They were questioned. They were let go. Nothing pegged the interest of the officer that made that traffic stop. These 2 guys were stopped, and they were let go. We'll tell you the significance of that here in a little bit. So that next morning, Washington, D.C. is waking up to the reality. So this happens at 9:20 at night. Some people, not Rob Dog, because he fucks all night long, and he's just up doing it, getting it on.
Fucking hating my life the next morning, though.
That next morning, Washington, D.C. is waking up to the tragic reality that a serial sniper is on the loose.
Another one happened while some people were probably sleeping or fucking.
I don't know that shit going on in this house, Rob Dog.
He wasn't the only one shooting loads last night.
No.
God,
shooting blanks. You're terrible.
That's me.
6 people gunned down in less than 48 hours. Businesses started to tarp their storefront windows to protect themselves. You get a nice fucking date. You say, where do you want to go? She says, let's go to the Melting Pot. Let's go to Red Lobster. Let's go here. Let's go. No, I've got the perfect spot. You slide into Wendy's. You get there at the curved window on the front. You're going to set her by the window front.
Nope.
They put the tarps up. They took away the fucking view. She says, can I get a spicy chicken sandwich? He says, I don't fucking care what you get. They took away the view. This is not romantic.
It's got a nice blue hue to the entire restaurant now.
Right. You want a Frosty? Get a Frosty. I don't fucking care. This date's ruined. It took away the curved window view at the local Wendy's.
Now I can't stand at the fucking homeless guy taking a shit at the bus stop.
If you've ever jerked off to a homeless man shitting at a bus stop, write us an email, brohiopodcast@gmail.com. Let us know how it felt, how you felt afterwards. Let us know.
Yeah, that'd be pretty cool.
So we got next. The sniper continued the murderous rampage the next day, albeit a little further away from the prior day's attack. So the night before, we got Pascal Charlot. He's killed in the crosswalk. This is right in the heart of Washington, D.C. The next morning, Caroline Sewell at 2:30 p.m. the next day at another Michael's craft store. So that's important here.
They don't like DIY people.
No, this guy he'd go mad over this Pinterest shit that's going on right now.
Right.
My wife, she's like, I'm going to Hobby Lobby real quick. I said, oh, okay, let me go get a title loan on my fucking car real quick so you can buy enough ribbons to... Jesus Christ.
Come on with 4,300 popsicle sticks.
I tried, I got it right here, and then I I need wood glue. What? I got some fucking wood glue for you right here, baby. Got some sticky glaze.
Ew.
So another Michael's Craft Store in Spotsylvania, Virginia. What a stupid name for
That's
fucking city.
fucking stupid.
What should we name this city? Let's name it Simpleton. No, I don't like it.
I like Pennsylvania.
How about Centerville? No.
Everybody here has spots. I'm originally from Pennsylvania. Let's just call it Spotsylvania.
Jeffrey, pull up your shirt and show them your spots. We will call it Spotsylvania. I've got it. My boy. Spotsylvania, Virginia. Caroline Sewell was loading her purchases into her minivan. Now, this was an hour away from where the murder occurred the night before. A single shot rang out and struck Caroline in the back. The bullet was found stuck in the minivan interior.
Oof.
The investigators in the forensic unit found it, the bullet fragment, and matched the fragments from the other shootings. So they know it was the same gun. The fear is coming true that this guy is not staying in one concentrated spot. Yeah. He's going all over the place at this point.
Same caliber, I should say.
Yeah, same spots. It's Spotsylvania.
Yeah, right.
Whew-wee. The bullet helped them narrow the type of rifle down at this point, also making it known that a skilled sniper with this rifle, and that's the thing, the ATF and the police chief, Chief Moose from, that's his name, Chief Moose. From the Montgomery County Police Department, they came out this time and they said, this rifle can be fairly accurate at up to a half a mile away. So as far as eyewitnesses go at this point, you don't, if they're striking from a half mile away, you're not going to have eyewitnesses.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
And I think through this entire investigation here, this entire incident, there were never really any eyewitnesses at all. And that's crazy to me. The thing about Caroline Sewell is she survived the shot that she absorbed. They started trying to connect the dots with the two. So the first shot that started the story, it didn't kill anyone, it didn't strike anyone, but that bullet went through the window of a Michael's Craft Store. Mm-hmm. And here we are, a day and a half, 2 days later, and we have another Michael's where someone has been killed.
Yeah, shot.
Yeah, well, yeah, she did not die. She lived, fortunately. At this point, there's no suspects. There's no eyewitnesses. They're trying to connect the dots, and it's just not happening. They opened up a tip line at this point, and this is where things start to get a little fucking wild, Rob Dog. They quickly reached 100,000 tips on the tip line. And a lot of these tips coming in are guys like, I'm the fucking killer. I am killing everybody. And they have to weed through this bullshit.
Yeah.
And say, no, check the caller ID. Yeah, that's the same guy that's called 14 fucking times
and,
today.
Yeah, and I'd feel like half of the, most of these tip lines are just wasting fucking time. Because they're going to send people chasing leads that are dead ends.
100,000 tips, man. You can't, there's not enough police resources in the entire world to follow all those leads.
Not at all.
Oh, that sucks. So they designed this plan of a concentric circle plan. The emergency response team would be ready in less than 1 minute, and they would create wide circles around the infected area. So this was the strategy planned by the police at this point. They would have rapid response, quick hit teams that could be ready and on the scene of these incidents within seconds. They would make huge circles around the area. They would block off every road, every highway, every intersection, and they would just gradually close these circles down until they, either caught the person or, that tactic would turn up fruitless, essentially. After this attack, there was a near 3 days of silence. Many people hoped the quiet weekend that passed was the end of the massacre. That Monday morning, a lot of different school districts debated on whether to close the schools, whether to just cancel school altogether.
Completely reasonable.
Yeah, but they ended up going with mostly just all indoor activities. And these police detectives I saw interviewed online, their kids were asking them, they would say, Daddy, did you find the killer yet? Because I really want to go outside for recess. That's sad, for a kid.
Yeah.
These kids they were concerned about getting the murderer off the street, obviously, but they were worried about little kid stuff. When can my life be the same again?
Yeah.
And that's the thing about this person committing these acts is they were changing the lives of an entire section of our country where these people had to live in fear. I've never walked out, the day after, or the day of 9/11, I walked outside. I'm like, man, I don't know what the fuck is going on out here.
Yeah.
I've never walked outside and just been like, I don't think I'm safe out here. These people were dealing with that. There's a sniper, just fucking
Just random.
picking people off.
Yeah.
I'm not going to the craft store.
That's for
can
sure.
wait. My popsicle hut can fucking wait, for one. And one thing I used to do when I was a kid is a popsicle, you can get a lot of flex to it, and I would just flip myself in the head of my dick with it just to try and teach myself self-control. I would start to get boners watching cooking channels.
Mm-hmm.
I would get boners watching Barney because I just thought about being in that suit with somebody else, how cool that would be. And
That'd be
to
pretty cool.
punish myself, I would take that popsicle stick and I would
Thump your wiener.
hit myself right in the wiener with it. Just that's what it sounded like. Popsicle stick hitting dick.
Okay.
It's worked, Rob. I don't get boners watching Barney anymore.
I believe you.
Not even a little bit, dude.
I'm going to test you on that later. I'm going to play an episode of Barney. And
All right. Fucking try me, dude. On October 7th at 8:09 a.m., this whole entire incident changed for the worse. Iron Brown, 13 years old, was being driven to school by his aunt. The week prior, he was kicked off the school bus for eating candy. Fucking bitch-ass school district.
Weak-ass reason.
He arrived at Benjamin Tasker Middle School in Bowie, Maryland. He was dropped off an hour early so his aunt could go to work. She was listening to the radio about the shooting. So she has the radio on. She drops him off. She starts to pull away. And in the radio, she hears him say, "The killer is still on the loose. We haven't found out who's carrying these things out. We don't know when this person's going to be brought to," and then the bang, she hears the gunshots ring out. She looks in the rear view, and she sees that Iron has been shot, and he's bleeding in the roadway.
Oh, God.
She called ahead to the ER and rushed him through traffic. The emergency room doctor that I saw interviewed said Iron was trying to die when he got there. He was trying to die. His body wanted to die. Despite being on the brink of death, they were able to keep him alive, and he survived the incident.
Wow.
Yes, so at this point there was a mad rush in the community to pick up everyone's children from school and get them out. And God, you don't fucking worry about anything like you do your kids.
Mm-hmm.
And your mind can play the scariest scenarios on you when it comes to your kids.
Definitely.
I don't care if I get hit by a fucking car. It sucked for that car. I'm a big fucking dude. And I don't care, what happens to me. But just the thought of a single tear rolling down the face of my child and me not being there for it, that's enough to make me want to pick a dumpster up and hit somebody in the fucking head with it.
Absolutely. Yep.
I'll kill somebody.
Yep. Agreed.
I will. And the thing about me is if I know that I could beat you in a fight, I take it one step further. I don't fight you. I just fuck you. And I tell people that when we get in a really heated conversation, they'll be like, "Oh, what the fuck you gonna do?" And I'll just stare at them and I'll say, "I'm gonna fuck you." And they're like, "What? What?" I say, "I'm gonna fuck you." And they get really scared because they know that,
Well, that's terrifying,
I
man.
always tell people, I'm like, you might whip my fucking ass, but you're gonna get hurt doing it. I'm gonna bite. I will bite someone's wiener and ball sack.
It was like the Mike Tyson line. I want to fuck you till you love me.
Yeah, exactly.
You're that guy say that and you're like, "Oh, fuck this."
Yeah.
I do not want to fight this guy anymore.
I'm good. I gotta go.
I think it was something like that. I might have that wrong, but I'm pretty sure.
I think that's right.
I think it's right.
Now, they were able to keep Iron Brown alive, like we said. Investigators searched the area of the school for clues. They did a forensic walk where they got shoulder to shoulder and they walked the entire area there. Eventually, investigators found a flattened area in some grass about 140 yards away in a wooded area. So this flat spot in the grass, not flat like Rob's ass, but just like a grass. No, you got badonkadonk for an otter.
I got a fat ass. Definitely not me.
You got an ass for an otter.
Otter.
They listened to last week to find out what an otter is. Yeah. So they found this flattened area in the grass 140 yards away. They used a metal rake, and they found a shell casing and an empty ink pen barrel. They also found the tarot card for death.
Oh, yeah.
Written on the card, handwritten, it says, "Call me God" on the front, and on 3 separate lines on the back, it says, "For you, Mr. Police, code, call me God. Do not release to the public." So this tarot card, tarot, there's a lot of different ways to say that word. The British guy that on the documentary, he's called it a tarot card. Tarot.
I've always said tarot, but
I think it's...
what the fuck do I know?
It doesn't matter.
It doesn't.
For the sake of this, it doesn't matter.
You assholes know what they're saying. It's like carrot with a T. Carrot cards.
We don't eat carrots here at the Bro High Podcast. We have them in our butt.
You want me to read your carrots?
Please do. I think carrots are wonderful.
I should have told Natasha that at the live show.
Glazed carrots. Those are good. Now, the tarot card was taken for forensic analysis. There were no DNA on the card and no fingerprints. This card was left in plain sight. Obviously, the murderer had full intentions of the investigators to find this.
He wanted it to be found.
And they were trying to convey a message at this point. So, for you, Mr. Police, call me God. Do not release to the press.
Thinking he's like the fucking Zodiac.
Yeah, the next day, the police did not tell the media about this card. Someone in law enforcement, loose lips sink ships.
Oh, yeah.
Someone went home and told their wife. Someone's wife told her sister. Someone's sister told her husband, and that husband said, "I'm going to go talk to goddamn Channel 22. I've never been on fucking news before. There's that one time I was in that car wreck, and I was drunk, and fucking cameras came, and they wouldn't let me talk to the fucking cops. Wouldn't let me talk to the news camera channel, but I got my chance now. I'm going to redeem myself. I need them to know why I wrecked that goddamn car, and there's a pig with his butt turned inside out and stuck in the back of my car, in the back of my Ford Escort. I was fucking that pig. Best goddamn piece of bacon I ever had in my life." So they find this card. The killer is very specific that they do not share that they found the card. The media immediately, front page of the Washington Post, tarot card, the death tarot card. Someone got the leak and they released it to the public. The media did. What was the police Chief Moose, had to take a very hard stance on this one. So he worked with FBI criminal profilers. There was different people in the government that specializes in the psychiatry of these murderers, these serial killers. He had to sit down with these guys, and he had to write a press release on how we were going to go, because he was doing press releases every day. There was a microphone set up outside the police station. Every day he's reporting to the public and reporting to the media. So he had to answer for why they didn't say anything about this card, and why the people, they got the information about this card, but the killer said, don't release the information about the card. But they wanted to keep a clear line of communication open.
Yeah.
For this killer, because of...
Well, not only that, but then, I mean, this releasing that information, even if they did, that could even cause more widespread panic and make people act even more crazy.
Sure. You're absolutely right.
So, I mean, I completely understand.
And he had to come out, and he had this prepared statement, and he said, if you he didn't cuss, but he said, if you motherfuckers in the media want to run this investigation, me and my police officers will go back to taking stolen bicycle calls.
Yeah.
We'll go back to doing police shit, and then we'll let the media find this guy. We'll let the media bring in the justice, and we'll let the media save all the people. So he had to take a real hard stance with the media at this point to let the killer know, like, hey, we didn't release this, and we want to keep the line of communication open. So at this point, the police are on complete edge.
Yeah, that's like their one link that they have, with these potential people that they don't want that to close up at all.
Sure. And one of the scariest things for the police at this time as well, they got this tarot card. It just says, call me God. This person didn't ask for anything. Normally in a situation like this,
right.
Give me $100 million in a helicopter.
Yeah.
Get a fucking, a guy in a gray shirt to come toss my salad while I fucking jerk off and eat Burger King. the new tacos from Burger King are fucking disgusting. They taste like slugs.
I haven't had them yet, and I'm kind of scared of them.
Oh my god, why would they even do that?
Stick to what you know.
Fucking going to McDonald's for ice cream or something.
I've had
It's
Taco Bell
stupid.
for like every night the past like week, so I mean, fuck.
Rest in peace to your asshole.
Can't go wrong.
Whew. So yeah, that was really troubling for the police, and not a lot of places to go from here. These guys weren't asking for anything. They didn't want, they didn't want some playgirls on a yacht. They didn't want anything. They just, we're going to keep on fucking killing people. On October 9th at 8:18 p.m., 53-year-old civil engineer Dean Harold Myers was shot dead while pumping gasoline in a Sunoco gas station at 7203 Sudley Road in Prince William County, Virginia, near the city of Manassas. Yes, I pronounced that correct because I looked it up.
all I can see is it just says man ass.
Manass. He was near the city of Manass.
Man ass as.
Flash forward 2 days. On the morning of October 11th at 9:30 a.m., 53-year-old businessman Kenneth Bridges was shot dead while pumping gas at an Exxon station off of Interstate 95 in Spotsylvania County. The spotted people of Spotsylvania.
The mini-nippled folks at Spotsylvania.
Near Fredericksburg. Witnesses reported a white panel van leaving the scene of this shooting as well. So there was the original reports that were dealing with a white panel truck. Now we're looking at a white panel van. We're looking for a white panel, like a big fucking moving vehicle of some type.
Yeah, the Chester van.
And it's matching up. You get a lot of different witness statements from a lot of different people saying, you're looking for a white panel something. That stuff starts to make sense for the police. So they make every highway in the entire area completely shut down within miles. They block everything. They start stopping every white van, truck, car, every white panel truck and van, and they were stopping everybody, dude.
Yeah, understandable.
My friend at work, he grew up in Virginia. He said he's 27, 28.
Yeah.
So he grew up right in the wheelhouse in this shit. And he said at the time, he's from a homeschooled family, big, like fucking 50 kids or something. They're all weird and fuck each other. I don't know.
Must be Catholics.
Yeah. No, they're not.
Okay.
Yeah, I don't think they are. They had a white van at the time, and he said they got stopped like 3 times within, a couple days of one another just for the police to put their flashlights in there and see what the fuck they were doing. And he, we're homeschooled. All right, keep fucking going. You guys don't have guns. Get the fuck out of here. We're homeschooled. Where does a homeschooled kid, I always make fun of them. And, I always say, they have to move your dad's tools in your garage for your prom.
I don't think I ever knew any homeschooled kids growing up.
Well, yeah, we went to school, dude.
Yeah. I mean, still, there may be like that fucking kid in the neighborhood, but
There's always that powdery white kid that shows up at random events and he's got fucking vampire fangs and shit. Who's that?
That was me.
That's Will. He's homeschooled. He can suck his own dick.
Oh, you fucking weirdo.
People love him. So the area made another full weekend without incident, which is, that's good. But then Linda Franklin, a breast cancer survivor, on October 14th, just 5 days later, at 9:15 p.m., 47-year-old Linda Franklin, an FBI intelligence analyst, who was a resident of Arlington County, Virginia, was shot dead in a covered parking lot at Home Depot in Fairfax County, Virginia, just outside Falls Church at Seven Corners Shopping Center. There were 11 shootings at this point. I'm sorry. This is 11 shootings. We're 11 shootings in at this point, and there's no witnesses that have said that they saw the shooter. But this changed at the Home Depot shooting. This guy, this witness, told police that he witnessed a man with olive skin fire a high-powered rifle and then escape the area in a light-colored van with a burned-out taillight. And the killer spoke later on and said that he had full intentions of killing the husband in this shooting, but then the husband moved abruptly. They were trying to fit some shelves into their vehicle. And then she came to the back of the vehicle. And that's when the killer shot her, removing a majority of her skull and killing her instantly.
Oof.
But I guess the dim bright spot of this incident, there was a eyewitness account of a olive-skinned Middle Eastern man firing an AK-47 and escaping in a cream-colored, light-colored van. Info from this witness turned out to be not credible. Security cameras showed that he was inside at the time of the shooting in the store. And his name was Matthew Dowdy. He was arrested for making false claims. He was an ex-con that spent time in prison. His nickname was Slim. And the police were kind of, they were suspect right off the get-go when he said that he observed this person use an
AK-47.
An AK-47. Because if you're someone,
one gunshot as opposed to
there's and they like I said, they were very suspect because he said,
what a fucking idiot.
Hey, I was outside and dude, it was a brown dude. He got olive skin. Actually, he looked like one of them dudes that took down the trade tower. He was just so stereotypical about all this shit. He kind of was, and it came out that he was just trying to get media notoriety at this point.
Yeah,
Old
figures.
Slim was just trying to make it on. He was trying to go viral at this point. One detective said there's a lot more, and this is a quote, she said there's a lot more bad guys than cops, but there's a lot more good guys than there are bad guys. So the police started to lean heavily on the public at this point, more so than ever. Chief Moose was coming out for his daily briefings, and he was crying out for help from the public. Anybody, if you've seen anything out of the sorts, if something is off, if something is not right, let us know so we can go check it out. So then people, they're hitting up the tip line, they're trying to do their part, but these calls for help were falling on deaf ears. From Tacoma, Washington, Robert Holmes had a revelation. He called the tip line from Tacoma, Washington. He said his friend, John Muhammad, was behind all of this. He said he owned a long-range rifle. His wife left him with the kids, and ever since then, he'd been exceptionally disgruntled, and that he moved to the area where the shootings were happening. This tip was shuffled to the back, and it's also said that this tip was completely discarded altogether. But there is record of Robert Holmes calling the tip line and saying, hey, I know the guy behind all this shit. And it never made it into the hands of anybody investigating this shit.
That's crazy. I mean, like we said, they have to sort through a lot of shit, but I mean, if someone's adamant and like, yeah, I know who did this is a lot of key information here that could point to a potential suspect to just be dismissed.
And it makes you think how many people were calling and saying, I think it's my Uncle Buck doing it. He lost a deer last week. He had it in his crosshairs and he took off on him. I think he might have sprayed piss on him. Some of them people that hunt deers fucking roll around in deer piss before they get out there.
They do.
That's disgusting.
Yep.
If you need me or Rob Dog to piss on you before you go hunting, write us an email, brohiopodcast@gmail.com. We'll be happy to mail you some piss that you can use for your deer hunting exposés.
Yeah, it'll get you to track some naked fat dudes.
Dude, so if I had to have you rub like sunscreen in my back,
yeah,
it wouldn't be all the way gay, but it would be a little bit weird.
Yeah, it'd be a little weird.
But if we were just out there in the wilderness rubbing deer piss on each other, is that the essence of man love, or is that just like that manliness?
I think it's manliness.
You think so?
Yeah.
And then when you turn around and look at me and I just take a big old fucking swig of it. Sometimes I can smell your breath.
What happens in the woods stays in the woods.
Come here and let me see your butthole. I can't see it. You're wearing camouflage.
Just wipe the beer piss or the beer or the deer piss all over my ass, and I just bend over in the field for days. Come on, Buck.
Deer wieners are not very intimidating.
No,
I don't think so.
I don't think so either.
Little red rocket's what it is, like a little cat wiener.
I just wouldn't want to fuck with anything with one of them corkscrew penises.
Dude, we had a cat named Nuzzles when I was little.
Yeah.
And every time he'd get a boner, he'd get so fucking mad. He'd roll over on his back and just be like, "Arr!" He'd scream at his dick. And now I'm like 300 pounds and I can't really see my dick, and I know how he feels. I fucking get a boner and I just lay on the bed on my back and I'm like, "You fucking useless wiener! Where's my god? It's stuck in my fold." Sometimes I get, for my wiener's setting weird, it gets stuck in a fold and I get a boner. It's just a taco boner. It's because it's stuck somewhere. Old Nuzzles, he's getting mad at his wiener and scream at it. Or you get a, like, "Here, buddy, come here. I'll help you out with it."
Oh man,
Come here, little kitty. Whew. Now, also to go along with this tip line, the caller, the sniper himself, calls the tip line.
These fuckers always get cocky.
Listen.
Rathbone City Police, love calls, the sign is recorded.
Good morning. Don't say anything. Just listen. Where are the people that are causing the killing in your area? Look on the tarot card. It says, "Call me God."
Sir, I need to
Get your
report you
people-
to that Montgomery County Police Hotline. We're not investigating a crime. Would you like the number?
So he calls with the
Jeez.
specifics.
So dismissive.
And not only did he speak about
The tarot card.
the tarot card, he
Yeah.
talked about a robbery that occurred in fucking Montgomery, Alabama. Before all this stuff happened, he referenced that. He said, I did the robbery in Montgomery, Alabama too. And this lady on the phone says, "We're not investigating this shit. This is just a tip line." And this fucking call gets shuffled and discarded, just like the one from the Holmes guy in Tacoma, Washington.
Yeah, she totally sounded like she didn't give a fuck.
I'm so fucking sick of talking to you stupid fucks. But like Rob and I, we were suspicious about before, they were getting inundated with calls of people calling and saying, "I'm the fucking killer." Nah.
Right.
I would call naked with just a mask on and say, "Hello, you're probably wondering who I am and why I've come to call you about these murders. I'm the murderer. I haven't killed any of these people, but I murder pussy for a living, if that's what you're wondering. And by murder it, I mean I leave it disappointed on my bed, yearning for a bigger wiener." So they're getting inundated with people calling and saying that they're the killer at this point.
Yeah.
Fucking Jesus. The murder that he brought up in Montgomery, Alabama was unsolved at this point, and it wasn't the same gun that was used in the sniper shootings. And in the sniper shootings, no one was robbed.
Yeah.
But in Montgomery, Alabama, there was a robbery, and there was a police pursuit afterwards. So they were completely different crimes. So the police at this point are saying, they might not have been saying shit because the fucking call never made it to them.
They didn't fucking know.
I don't know what the fuck happened. On October 19th at 8 p.m., 37-year-old Jeffrey Hopper was shot in a parking lot near the goddamn Ponderosa Steakhouse at State Route 54. I mean, all of the respect to Jeffrey Hopper and his family, but if I had a dime for every time I left Ponderosa and wanted to fucking die, I would have a few $1,000s. That place is completely fucking guttural, disgusting. It tastes like they take the shit and shove it up your ass instead of the shit coming out of your ass.
Man, I don't know if I've ever been to one.
Holy fuck, dude.
Rough.
It tastes like a fucking elephant shit in your mouth. It's disgusting.
If I ever have been, I completely forgot about it, so that tells you how I felt about it.
My dad, when we were little, he said, "Hey, we're going to go to Ponderosa."
There's one over by where I live, where was one, wasn't there?
They went out of business, yeah.
Yeah. In that shopping center?
And my brother and I were like, fuck, we always want to go to Frisch's. Big
Yeah.
These rolls at Ponderosa were so fucking hard, man. We would put them on our person, like we'd have muffin tops, we'd tuck our shirts in. We'd have like 50 fucking rolls in our shirts. And we would just fucking stare at each other the entire time, nodding our heads like, "You're next, motherfucker." And then we would get out in the parking lot. We'd take these hard-ass biscuits, and we would just start throwing them at each other. They would leave welts and bruises. I hit him in his tooth one time, his like canine, before he lost it. I chipped his fucking tooth with this
Holy
roll, dude.
shit.
This Ponderosa roll. Yeah. Yeah.
That's so good.
So the next week, we're at Red Lobster, and my dad's like, "What do you want, Nick?" I said, "I'm going to get me the fucking crab legs." He said, "Holy shit, I can't pay for crab legs." They put my crab legs down. My little brother, he takes my fucking cup of melted butter and he dumps it on my dick. Just like instant, just on my wiener.
What a fucking asshole.
That was for breaking his canine in the Ponderosa parking lot. That's how we got back at one another. Old buttery balls.
Now you got a buttery dick.
I'd wear those jeans to school still, and they always had a fucking creamy like grease spot right in the front where the wiener was.
Old butter dick Nick.
It was too. Yeah, I wasn't Dickless Nicholas anymore. I was so
Butter
happy.
dick.
I was so happy to not be Dickless Nicholas anymore.
Come get some of this savory Nick dick.
Oh, back to Jeffrey Hopper here.
Enough about my dick.
Some get you some of this Dickalicious Nicolicious. 37-year-old Jeffrey Hopper was shot in a parking lot near the Ponderosa Steakhouse at State Route 54 in Ashland, Virginia, about 90 miles south of Washington, D.C., near Interstate 95. His wife, Stephanie, called out to passerby who phoned for an ambulance, enabling Hopper to survive his injuries. Okay, so he lived. So, I still mean all the respect to the family.
Yeah.
Authorities discovered a 4-page letter from the shooter in the woods after this shooting. In the letter, the shooter demanded $10 million and made a threat to children. So, like we said, they found a shell casing and a 4-page letter, but the 4-page letter was put inside of a Ziploc baggie. And the Ziploc baggie had DNA on it, but the DNA did not match anything that was in the database. We do have the letter here. Old Rob Dog, if you want to read that.
Sure. It says...
It's kind of hard to read.
Yeah, it's been photocopied like 9,000 times. For you, Mr. Police, call me God. Do not release to the press. We have tried to contact you to start negotiation, but the incompetence of your forces in Montgomery... let's see.
That's really hard to read.
Yeah, the incompetence of your police force in Montgomery...
In Montgomery
Police officer at Friday.
It's all redacted right there.
Yeah, blank, redacted... at blank Friday, Rockville.
And what he's doing
Department.
right here is he observed all of these people from a distance after the shooting. So he's pinning the letter, citing all of the people that he saw at the investigation.
Okay. Yeah, and it says female officer in parentheses, or in quotes, at redacted. Task Force FBI female at redacted 4 times. Priest at... Is that Ash?
I think he also mixes in people that he had contacted over the course of this investigation, because he did contact this priest and left a voicemail for this priest, but it was of no help to the police.
And this is just going with him saying that he's tried to make contact for negotiation. Let's see here, where are we at? And something, I can't read what that says, but at Washington, D.C. at redacted. These people took...
He's an illiterate fuck.
Of calls for a hoax. I'm thinking it means hour. Calls for a hoax or joke. So your failure to respond has cost you 5 lives. If stopping the killing is more important than catching us now, then you will accept our demand, which are non-negotiable. You will place $10 million in Bank of America account. Number redacted. PIN number redacted. Activation date redacted. Expiration date. Name. Member since all redacted. Platinum Visa account.
Okay.
We will have unlimited withdrawal at any ATM worldwide.
Yeah, that's how that works.
Right. You will activate the bank account, credit card, and PIN number. We will contact you at Ponderosa Buffet. Telephone number Redacted, 6 a.m. Sunday morning. You have until 9 a.m. Monday morning to complete the transaction. Try to catch us withdrawing. At least you will have less body bags. Okay. But, in parentheses, if trying to catch us now, more important than prepare you body bags. Okay. If we give you our word, that is what we take place. Word is bond, in quotes. P.S. Your children are not safe anywhere at any time.
Thank you for stumbling through that illiterate fucking mess
Holy
right
shit,
there.
that's rough.
He's a retarded sniper. Really good with a gun.
Horrible with penmanship and grammar.
Terrible with words.
Yeah. And I'm usually not, I'm not stumbling over that because I can't read this time. I'm stumbling over that because it's very difficult to read.
It looks like someone wrote it left-handed with their penis is what it looks like. I'm really not shooting guns, but I'm fucking...
It's like when your kid makes some crayon art and it sucks really fucking bad, but you have to appreciate it because it's your kid.
I like to drink the ink inside the pen. So the investigators see that throughout this letter, they use the reference we and us.
Yeah.
Which tells them that they have more than one person involved.
Multiple people.
This person was pissed. And in the call, it says, be ready, we're going to call Ponderosa. There was a call that was supposed to go to Ponderosa at 6 a.m. the next day or something.
Yeah.
But I think this letter immediately got sent to the lab, and it got passed over that this call was going to be coming into Ponderosa. So the police and the FBI missed the fucking call that came into Ponderosa from the killers.
Oh my gosh. Okay.
So then Chief Moose, he goes out to his press conference. He's, hey, I know you tried to call us and we missed the call, but here, call us back. And he did call back to the Ponderosa again. And when he called back to the Ponderosa again, he talked about how pissed off he was that when he called the tip line, he was blown off like an ex-boyfriend.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
He's pissed off about that and just kind of made the same demands that were in the letter. He wanted $10 million. You know, we're going to keep killing people. We're going to take your kids. Fucking asshole.
Yeah.
But then let us go back to the Alabama shooting in Montgomery, Alabama, that we haven't talked a whole lot about. This was the robbery.
The robbery? Okay.
That the caller spoke about in his calls to the call center. He says, you know, I know about this call. I know about this killing, this murder in Montgomery, Alabama as well. There was a magazine dropped during the police chase afterwards. And not like a gun magazine, but like a fucking magazine you buy boats out of and shit. You know. They were able to get a fingerprint off of that magazine. This fingerprint led them to the police department in Montgomery, Alabama didn't have access to immigration records. The FBI ran the fingerprint, and through the Immigration and Naturalization Service, or INS, they discovered that it matched John Lee Malvo, a Jamaican immigrant from Tacoma, Washington that was 17 years old. He had his fingerprints taken during an INS hearing, and those INS records, obviously, like I said before, weren't available to the Alabama police. Also, in the paperwork for these INS hearings was his link to John A. Muhammad, who was listed as Malvo's stepdad. John Muhammad served in the Army for 9 years, and he was listed as an expert marksman. And I think there were some conspiracies about him. He wasn't really, he kind of half-assed qualified. You know, he wasn't really, they kind of lied about, like, forged the documents almost to make it seem like he wasn't as good of a shot as what the paperwork portrayed him to be. Do you know anything about that at all?
I'm trying to find that right now. Give me 1 second. Yeah, I found it. I'm gonna try to read this without potentially spoiling what happens, because there's a couple things in here that tells what happens. So I'm gonna try to skip over that. So if I sound like an idiot, just you know me, I'm an idiot. So it says, initial reports speculated that Muhammad had received sniper training. The Army had subsequently denied this. Most reports now hold that Muhammad, throughout what the Times described as a checkered 16-year military career, never distinguished himself as a skilled shooter. As the Times explained, and this is in quotes, all soldiers entering the Army undergo basic training with M16 rifles. Once every year, they have to requalify, earning marksman, sharpshooter, or expert marks. Muhammad ultimately earned only a sharpshooter mark, so to compare him to a military sniper would be inaccurate. And that ends quotes. Indeed, it would. To even be considered for admission to the Army sniper schools reportedly requires 3 consecutive expert rankings. Muhammad could not even manage one such score over the course of a 16-year career. But he could, though, rather amazingly, score headshots on live targets up to 400 yards away. And then I'm not going to read the next part because that's going to give away everything else. So
Okay. All right.
So
media misinformation.
yeah, complete.
Okay. We don't deal with that in our present day and age at all.
No, not at all.
Muhammad kidnapped his children and took them to Antigua around 1999, apparently engaging credit card and immigration document fraud. It was during this time that he became close friends with Lee Boy Malvo, who we know as John Malvo, who later acted as his partner in the killings. Williams, John, his name was John Williams, changed his name to John Alad Muhammad in October of 2001. Malvo testified that Muhammad had indoctrinated him into believing that the proceeds of the extortion attempt for the $10 million would be used to establish a camp in Canada where homeless children would be trained as terrorists. Yeah, that's some good shit. While in the U.S. Army, Muhammad was trained as a mechanic, a truck driver, and a specialist metal worker. He qualified with the Army's standard rifle, the M16, earning the Expert Rifleman's Badge. This rating is the Army's highest of 3 levels of basic rifle marksmanship for a soldier. And next we have the victim, Conrad Johnson. So the next day, October 22nd, bus driver Conrad Johnson, 35 years old, was shot at 5:56 a.m. while standing on the steps of his bus at the 14,100 block of Grand Prix Road in Aspen Hill, Maryland. And this is the 911 call from that.
In Montgomery County, Maryland, the terror continued.
Aspen Hill, bus 705. Aspen Hill and what? Right here by the post office. Please, he's been shot about 2 minutes. Please, hurry up, please. I'm on the bus with him.
Now, the investigators took the message from the Ponderosa call, because there was a second call that they did catch, and they took that recorded conversation. They took it to John Holmes. It's not John Holmes is the guy with the really big dick.
Yeah,
I think it was Robert Holmes. They took it to Mr. Holmes in Tacoma, Washington, and he recognized the voice as Lee Malvo's voice, the 17-year-old Jamaican.
just taking the clip to a guy with the big dick. Yeah. Like, what do you make of this?
You know, you got a huge wiener. And
I don't know, but I got a boner.
Yeah. You'll know it when I get my dick hard. You really will. You'll feel it in your loins. I don't just fuck women. I've been known to tear the ass out of a man as well. So at this point, the police have a face, 2 faces, 2 names, all of this, and they have a composite sketch from Alabama from that murder as well, from that robbery, and that composite sketch of Malvo up against his real picture that they have at this point. They're like, yeah, he's one of our guys. So they put the bulletin out in the media. They say, we're looking for a blue Chevy Caprice, 2 black males, standard stuff for this.
Completely different than the big white van that they originally thought.
The olive skin terrace.
Yeah.
Right. Now they Whitney Donahue, a fridge repairman, was driving home late on October 24th in Virginia.
Ooh, my birthday.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, buddy.
At 11:30 at night, he was going home. He hopped on Route 66, 2 hours away from his house. Now, he stopped at a rest area. He turned in to the rest area and saw a blue Caprice. He had written down the license plate number when he heard it on the radio.
Good man.
He saw the vehicle, and he matched the Jersey plate. It was a Jersey plate. He called the police from his cell phone. There was a massive police response immediately, obviously.
Yeah.
Police asked him on the phone to block the exit, so he got on his CB radio. He said, Night Rider, 4-5, can I get to help some of you boys up here in the rest? You boys quit jerking off and fucking that lot lizard and come over here and help me shut down these exits, this rest area. So they shut down, essentially, the rest area. They moved their trucks around. People in the blue Caprice aren't fucking moving.
Yeah, they ain't going nowhere.
The SWAT team was there within 15 minutes.
That's pretty fast for a SWAT team to move.
At 3:15 a.m., John Malvo and John Muhammad were officially found sleeping in the blue Chevy Caprice. A stolen Bushmaster .223 caliber weapon and a bipod were found in a bag in Muhammad's car. Ballistics tests later conclusively linked the seized rifle to 11 of the 14 shootings, including one in which no one was hurt. And Malvo, the 17-year-old Jamaican, stole the rifle from the fucking gun shop. And I don't know how you pull that shit off.
Yeah, you're right.
That's pretty impressive.
Well, maybe he sold it pre-9/11.
Yeah. The trunk of the Chevy Caprice was modified to serve as a rolling sniper's nest. The back seat was modified to allow a person access to the trunk. Once inside, the sniper could lie prone with shots taken from a small hole near the license plate created for that purpose. And they had that little flap.
Yeah, you can see the picture.
Energize it with a battery, and the flap would come down. And they could take their shot, and they would move it back up. And during the trial, the 17-year-old Malvo said that he blames a lot of what he did on being sexually assaulted his entire life. He said as a boy he was sexually assaulted, and he said that during this entire time of essentially roaming the country, committing these acts, that John Muhammad was sexually assaulting him as a 17-year-old, young man at this point. And it takes me back to an incident when I was younger, and it happened a lot of different times. My mom would drop us off at my grandma's house. And if we fucked up, she had plastic on her furniture. If we would move the plastic and get our skin on the cloth, she would flop out one of her tits. It looked like a giant bag of fucking rice, dude. Like some doomsday prepper bags of rice.
Yeah.
And she'd lift it up like a judge's gavel. She'd hit us right in the back of the fucking head with her tit, man.
Oof.
Yeah. One time she hit me so fucking hard that I had nipple burns on my neck.
You saw Jesus.
No, I saw the fucking carpet when I got knocked out. It was always her left tit, though. Because she was still breastfeeding my uncle at this point. On the right tit.
That right one was saved for him.
She hit us with the right milky tit, it would have fucking killed us, dude.
Snapped your neck.
Yeah. She called the right tit. She would say, "You boys better not fuck up that furniture. I'll hit you with the milk monster." She'd fucking threaten us to hit us with that fucking milk monster, dude.
Big ass robust titty.
Looked like a giant Cheeto hanging off of her. Just
the nipple?
The entire tit. Okay. Looked like an old Cheeto.
Oh, man.
Shoo. Now, during his incarceration, the older John Muhammad referenced jihad and his he really loved Osama bin Laden. That was
go figure.
He kind of thought those guys were doing and he was Muslim.
Mm-hmm.
And he had converted Malvo as well. At the 2006 trial of Muhammad, Malvo testified that the aim of the killing spree was to kidnap children for the purpose of extorting money from the government and to set up a camp to train children how to terrorize cities, with the ultimate goal being to, quote, shut things down across America.
Jeez.
During their trials in the fall of 2003 involving two of the victims in Virginia, Muhammad and Malvo were each found guilty of murder and weapons charges. The jury in Muhammad's case recommended that he be sentenced to death, while Malvo's jury recommended a sentence of life in prison without parole instead of the death penalty. The judges concurred in both cases. God bless you.
Thank you.
On September 16th of 2005, the Circuit Court Judge Mary Grace O'Brien set an execution date by lethal injection for November 10th of 2009 for John Muhammad. His attorneys petitioned the U.S. Supreme Court to stay his execution, but it was denied. They also requested clemency from Virginia Governor Tim Kaine, but this was denied as well. The execution began shortly after 9 p.m. on November 10th, and he was pronounced dead at 9:11 p.m. Malvo is still incarcerated at this time. He's done some interviews. He sounds like a rambling fucking moron. It's hard to... He's just weird, man. He had a fucked up life, and he was just weird. Muhammad's goal, and this is what Malvo said, is there was a 3-phase goal. He says the first phase, they intended to kill 6 white people a day for 30 days. Malvo went on to describe how phase 1 did not go as planned due to heavy traffic and the lack of a clear shot or getaway at the locations. Phase 2 was intended to begin by killing a pregnant woman by shooting her in the stomach.
Jesus.
The next step would have been to shoot and kill a Baltimore police officer. Then, at the officer's funeral, they planned to detonate several improvised explosive devices complete with shrapnel. These explosives were intended to kill a large number of police, since many police would attend another officer's funeral. The last phase was to take place during or shortly after Phase 2, which was to extort several $1 million from the U.S. government. And like we said earlier in the episode, this money would be used for their fucking magic camp there in Canada to train fucking
terrorists,
maple syrup soldiers to take down the American government via killing everybody. Muhammad was executed by lethal injection, like I said, in Greensville, the Greensville Correctional Center in Jarrett, Virginia on November 10th. There were 27 people, including victims' family members, that witnessed the execution. When asked if he had any last words, he had none.
He said, I think if I remember reading right that he that was one of the fastest
a la candy bar.
I think that was one of the fastest like from death sentence to actual administration
there's people still on death row from 30-40 years ago from crimes committed 30 or 40 years ago.
Yeah. Good riddance.
It's a slow process.
Not for Mr. Muhammad, it wasn't.
No. Swift.
Yeah.
Fucking murderous. There's a lot of people that think that John Muhammad was a patsy, that he was a Manchurian candidate for the U.S. government, the spotty military background. But I think that these guys ultimately were just exactly who they were, man. They had a plan, they had a little bit of skill, and they carried out the plan.
Yep.
And they made it happen.
Yeah, so, it ended up, unfortunately, working. How many people did they kill ultimately? Was it 7?
I think it was 11.
11, maybe?
Something, yeah.
Injured several more. Yeah, I mean, they definitely left a trail of terror.
They did. And it had the entire area right there paralyzed for a long time.
Right.
So hopefully Malvo will never be executed because he committed these crimes as a juvenile.
He was 17. Yeah.
He's still currently going through the motions of trying to get a new trial. He says, and obviously he probably was brainwashed by John Muhammad.
Yeah.
Yeah, so.
I'm sure some of it happened, but that fucker never needs to be out back on the streets again.
At the end of the day, he said that he wanted nothing more than to make John Muhammad happy. That's all he wanted to do. He couldn't let him down. I mean, and John Malvo, when he would lie down to take these shots, he just said that he didn't want to take these people's lives. He just didn't have the willpower to let John Muhammad down.
Yeah.
And that's essentially why he was taking these shots. And he also went on record and said that he took all the shots so that John Muhammad wouldn't essentially get in trouble for any of this shit. So no one really knows for sure who took all the shots or who took which shots, but they did the shit together. And obviously Muhammad was the mastermind behind all of it.
Two nuts in a sack.
That's the way the cookie crumbles, isn't it? Oh, man, what a twisting, winding tale here.
Yep, fuck them.
Fuck them.
Fuck them both.
Hopefully they both die.
Well, But one's dead.
I wish John Muhammad would have fucked him so hard in that blue Caprice that he died, and then he got caught and then executed, and then we had 2 dead bodies.
But definitely look at the pictures of the car. It's pretty interesting. It's kind of just like they cut out where the lock was on the trunk and put like plastic over it.
Yeah,
for them to take these shots at this distance and not really have a complete, view of their surroundings and have like the peripheral vision and all that stuff. It's pretty impressive.
Yeah. Well, that's the episode.
Yeah. Thank you guys.
And we appreciate you guys listening.
Yeah. Thank you very much.
We love you so much.
I love you.